What if I told you that one of the most beautiful countries in the world is also one of the most financially stressed? Thailand looks like paradise on the surface. Luxury malls, brand new cars, designer clothes, and people living what looks like a world-class lifestyle. I have spent years driving through rural Thailand, and one image always stuck with me. I'd see a 1.2 million baht Ford Raptor gleaming in a driveway, parked in front of a house that didn't even have finished concrete walls or glass in the windows. It's a visual paradox. That was my first real clue that something didn't add up, because underneath the smiles there's a problem most tourists never see: debt. And not just a little bit. Thailand has one of the highest household debt levels in Asia, officially sitting at around 86.7% of GDP. But when you include the shadow economy, the money borrowed under the table, the number is likely well over 100%. Today, we're going behind the curtain. Why is the land of smiles drowning in red ink? How has borrowing money become a national survival strategy? And what happens when the saving face culture meets a financial breaking point? Once you see the shadows, you'll never look at the paradise illusion the same way again. So, let's start with the raw reality. Thailand's total household debt is now sitting at roughly 16.4 trillion baht. Now, that's not just a statistic, it's an entire economy level emergency, and this isn't a temporary post-COVID blip. This is structural. Over the past 25 years, debt has almost doubled. But here's where it gets worrying. A huge portion of this debt isn't being used to build wealth. In the West, we're told to borrow to invest. In Thailand, people are borrowing to breathe. Around 29% of this debt is for personal consumption. That means people are taking out loans for food, electricity bills, and basic daily living. Not business, not assets, just getting through the month. Now, debt doesn't explode like this unless it's easy to get. And in Thailand, credit is everywhere. You have the high street banks, sure, but then you have the informal lending sector. This is the dark side of the street. In almost every neighborhood, there's a local money boss who keeps the somme. The informal ledger is an unregulated, invisible bank. No credit checks, no paperwork, just high interest and a notebook. The Bank of Thailand knows this informal debt is massive, which means the official 86% figure is just the tip of the iceberg. Culturally, borrowing isn't seen as a red flag anymore. It's been normalized as a standard tool for survival. So, what is the money actually buying? This is where foreigners often get it wrong. It's not just about poverty, it's about prana, the crushing social pressure to look successful. Thailand runs on financed wheels, but look closer at those trucks. Repossession rates have surged in 2026. People are losing the very tools they need for work because they're trapped in high-interest contracts for vehicles that are depreciating faster than they can pay them off. In Thailand, your status isn't a luxury, it's your passport. If you show up to a village meeting on an old motorbike, you are heard differently than if you show up in a white Toyota Hilux. It's common to see people financing an iPhone for 48 months. Imagine paying off a phone for 4 years. By the time the debt is gone, the phone is obsolete, but the habit of borrowing for the next one is already baked into your life. Only about 36% of Thai debt is housing related. Compare that to the UK, where most debt is tied to property and assets. In Thailand, the debt is in consumption. People are on a treadmill borrowing to pay off the last loan just to keep the image intact. You might think people have debt everywhere. Since returning to the UK recently, I see people struggling with the cost of living here too. But the difference is the safety net. In Thailand, if the Sommi notebook closes on you, there is no plan B. Thailand isn't a high-income country. When income growth stalls, as it has recently, repayment becomes mathematically impossible. Non-performing loans have hit 1.24 trillion baht. Even though the Bank of Thailand has tried cutting rates, it's often too little, too late for families already trapped in the cycle. It's not a ladder to a better life. It's a treadmill that's speeding up. Now, this isn't just about numbers. It's about the Thai heart. Maintaining the smile and the image of success is a social obligation. People will go into debt to host a wedding or a festival because saving face for the family is more important than a bank balance. Supporting aging parents is non-negotiable. If a relative is sick and there's no cash, you borrow. You don't ask questions. You just sign the ledger. Now, when you walk through Siam Paragon or ride the BTS, you see a world that looks incredibly wealthy. You see the glitz and the designer bags, but you're often looking at a debt-funded lifestyle. Tourists judge Thai wealth by the shine of the cars and the height of the buildings. They don't see the stress behind the eyes of the person holding that iPhone. Once you realize the land of smiles is carrying this heavier burden, the paradise looks very different. So where does this all go? The government is pushing for restructuring, but you don't fix a debt culture overnight. Unless wages rise and the cost of living stabilizes, the cycle continues. People aren't borrowing because they want to. They're borrowing because the system and the culture demands it. Now, Thailand is still the amazing, vibrant country I fell in love with years ago, but to truly understand it, you have to look at the shadows as well as the sun. The debt crisis is the story nobody wants to tell because it breaks the paradise illusion. But behind the image, there is a financial pressure that defines the lives of millions. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, what do you guys think? Have you noticed this debt-funded lifestyle on your travels? Or do you think the culture is finally starting to shift? Let's talk in the comments.